we're trying to take crypto from being the niche industry that it is and trying to bring the value of this technology to the wider world. And again, this is where this whole concept for me of like bring the next billion people to crypto, I think is wrong. I think what we need to do is we need to meet those people where they are, which means creating value, creating user experiences that resonate with them wherever they are today, rather than trying to kind of convince them to become degens and come into our world.
Hey everybody, Tanner here with WAGMI Ventures. On today's episode, we have Jess Houlgrave, CEO at WalletConnect. For anyone who's new, this is the WAGMI Ventures podcast, where we do snapshots with interesting builders, founders, and investors from across Web3. Check out wagmiventures.io to learn more about the syndicate behind the podcast. But for now, let's get into it with Jess at WalletConnect. All right. What's up, everyone? I'm Tanner. This is the WAGMI Ventures podcast. I'm here today with Jess Houlgrave, CEO at WalletConnect. Jess, what's up? How are you doing today?
Hey, Tanner. I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, I'm really pumped to chat. WalletConnect's so cool. And I know I'm going to cover a lot of really interesting stuff here across the conversation. So, before we get to WalletConnect, I'd love to just jump in a tiny bit on you just to kind of tee up the conversation, right? It's because you've worked as a founder, you've got, a master's in art business from the Sotheby's Institute of Art, you've studied economics at Oxford, and you've done a ton of cool stuff along the way too. Like, this, as I was looking at your background, I'm like, I think I'm so curious about the evolution of your crypto journey alongside your professional journey and how that all kind of came to unify with your recent move as CEO of WalletConnect.
Yeah, so I think it's been definitely like a long and winding career journey. And the theme that strings this all together for me is just my endless curiosity and like intrigue about new and exciting things. And this is something that means that constantly I get excited about something, I want to switch. And so I guess to go back in time, as you said, have a degree in economics, started life in investment banking and private equity, but always had kind of like been interested in tech, and had a housemate who was into crypto. This is going back to like 2013, 2014. He was the one who encouraged me actually to like start learning about this stuff. And at first it had my finance mind engaged with it. Then very quickly I realized that this was like monetary system evolution in real time. And when I was studying economics, this like history of monetary systems was something that I was deeply interested in. So that's how I first became engaged with crypto from a kind of non-professional perspective. And like, as every single one of us has done in many, many different ways, I like went down the rabbit hole, started to learn more from a technological perspective. And that's what took me to actually writing this other master's thesis at Sotheby's Institute, which was about the applications of blockchain for the art market. And so for the first time, I was then just like spending all of my time in this space thinking about it. That's what led me to found Codex, which was a very, very early, way too early actually, like NFT project built as an API for auction houses to create NFTs that would track the provenance of valuable assets. Went through that, did a bunch of other things. Most recently, before I joined WalletConnect, I was at Checkout.com, which is a payments company. It's a bit like the European sort of version of Stripe, but with a bit more of an enterprise focus. I joined them at their Series A as chief of staff, spent a few years there, and my final role there was leading the crypto team, which was both thinking about how we take fiat payment products to the crypto market. So how people can buy crypto with credit card processing, things like this, as well as how we build crypto payments products. And so this was, my kind of, real deep going back into the crypto space. And when I left at the beginning of last year, what I really wanted to do was find a team that was at that infrastructure level, early stage, building really fast. And I got introduced to WalletConnect via one of their investors, and it just ticked all the boxes for me. Most importantly, that the team is just fantastic. And as I was meeting them, I was just so excited by what they're doing, who they are, their skills, their energy. And so the last 6 months since I joined has just been an absolutely like joyful experience. And I'm incredibly privileged to be there.
Amazing. Okay. So let's talk about WalletConnect a little bit. I'd love to just hear kind of in your words a little bit about what WalletConnect is and what your team seeks to enable with what you're building.
So WalletConnect started back in 2017. Our founder, Pedro Gomez, had been working on a crypto wallet at the time and noticed this challenge, which was that a lot of applications were taking place on the desktop, and yet we were seeing this increasing pervasiveness of mobile wallets. And so there was this question, okay, like, how do I connect my mobile wallet to my desktop application? And this is like in the purest form what the original WalletConnect was. It was a way of sending messages, auth and sign messages from mobile wallets to desktop applications. That's evolved into the WalletConnect protocol as we know it today, which is fundamentally still a kind of connections and communications protocol for all of Web3 to allow any app and any wallet to speak with one another. On top of that, then we have built a series of SDKs that facilitate much better developer experience and therefore hopefully much better end user experience. And this is really our mission. It's like, how do we create amazing and delightful and fun and simple end user experiences in Web3? But we do that by supporting developers. We're a B2B organization, but we want to give the tooling to developers building in this space so that they don't have to think about all those complexities around wallets and stuff. They can focus on what they do best. So our flagship product here is the thing we call Web3 Modal. I expect that many people are familiar with it, even if they don't kind of realize they are, because when you go onto a lot of applications in Web3 and you click Connect Wallet, and it pops up with all the different options of different types of wallet that you can connect, that's our product there. And so we see millions and millions of connections going through the network every single week, and are just incredibly lucky to work with an awesome range of partners across NFT platforms, DeFi applications. I mean, you name it, we see it, and that's a really cool place to be for the company. We're like 40 people today, fully remote, mostly kind of like Europe, but we have people in the US, Argentina, India, Japan, all over the place. And that's also one of the most amazing things about WalletConnect for me.
Super cool. Okay, awesome. Hey everybody, quick thing here. We're excited to announce WAGMI Advisory, your home for all things fundraising, hiring, and partnerships. This is all about supercharging your project with the WAGMI network consisting of over 20,000 executives, investors, and builders in crypto, all ready to come alongside your project to help it succeed. Get in touch at team@wagmiventures.io to learn more and figure out if WAGMI Advisory is the right fit for your project. Now, let's get back to the show. So one thing I like to always ask is kind of it's really like comes in a pair, and it's two sides of the same coin in my opinion. And the two questions are really about sort of earliest challenges and earliest surprises in, whoever I'm speaking to's tenure with a given organization. And so to maybe put the first question to you, I'm always curious, like, I think the ways in which challenges are solved kind of infuses the DNA of those decisions into future path dependencies. And so I'm curious for you, like at WalletConnect, what was maybe one or two challenges that came up, and how did you and your team think about solving for those?
A great question. So I have two. One is like the best problem that you can ever have when you join a new company, which is these like really cool positive surprises. And for me, in my first few weeks at WalletConnect, I was just like, and I continue to be today actually, blown away by these positive surprises, which is, as I was saying in the previous question, these just like really cool use cases of how people are using our tech. And sometimes because of the way that we build, because WalletConnect is open source, we don't even know that people are using this sometimes until they contact us. So in my very first week, like we had 3 or 4 like big Web2 enterprise companies contacting us for support, and we had no idea that they were building with our technology. And so this is like both an amazing challenge, but also an amazing opportunity. And one of the things that we've done there over the last little while is just try to gather much more data about who is using us so that we can give them the right support. And that's a combination of product, combination of building out teams that are focused on like business development and account management, which is something that we didn't have at WalletConnect before, putting in some systems like sounds really boring, but like having a CRM so that we can really understand and track what our customers are doing. Um, all of these things have been efforts that we've made over the last few months that just, I think, help us to be better partners to the people using our technology, which is obviously so important. The other challenge that we have, and again, this is like an amazing and lucky challenge to have, is that there's so much opportunity for us. We work cross chain, we work with all different types of ecosystems, all different types of dApps, all different types of wallets. And the challenge that presents is one of focus, right? Like, what do we say no to? Where do we spend our time? Because we're a small team, we're resource constrained, and so we need to be very disciplined in what we do, because otherwise we fall into this risk of trying to be all things to all people and yet like not really achieving any of it. And so one of the other things that we've done over the last few months is also think a little bit more like strategically about product direction, where we're investing our time, where we're investing our resources, and making sure that like we are doing the right thing, because this space just moves, as you will know as well as anybody, it just moves so fast. Like, what is happening, what is cool today might not be what's happening cool tomorrow. And so what we've tried to do is take just this really long-term perspective, and that is, whatever happens, we need to make an amazing end user experience. We need less clicks, we need more security, and we need these experiences to feel much more intuitive. And by having these as these like core principles that we can build to, it allows us to make better decisions from a product and resourcing perspective as well.
Love it. That makes a ton of sense. Okay. So, a couple last questions here for you on WalletConnect. I think one thing that you maybe touched on a bit already, but I'm always curious about, obviously without naming any names, right? But just kind of general failure modes for how people might approach the work you're doing, and how your team manages to avoid these traps, right? I think I'm thinking specifically here on the simplification of the UX in Web3 or easing friction, kind of a variety of what you just mentioned. What mistakes do you think teams often make, and what are the best ways your team has managed to sort of evade those traps?
I don't know that we evade them all. We're very much still learning as an organization. And this is where like customer feedback is just the most valuable thing to us, and why I put a big emphasis on, both personally and as a team, us spending as much time as possible with our users. I think one of the curious things about Web3 is that Web3 is built on these like incredibly powerful values, right? We think about privacy, we think about self-sovereignty, we think about data and ownership. And these are like big topics. But how you distill them into like everyday use is really challenging. And I think that one thing that I notice about this is that end users like expressed preferences and revealed preferences can be really different. And what I mean by that is that end users say they care about privacy, but the actions that they are taking often don't indicate that they do. And so sometimes that they even behave in ways that are not intuitive and don't correspond with the things that they say that they want. And this is just like pure user research and data. And so it's about understanding what customers say they want, but also observing what they're doing. And we did this survey that we released a couple of weeks ago. It was the WalletConnect Pulse, and we surveyed about 300 end users in crypto about what they wanted from their wallet and app experience. And the most surprising statistic that came out of this for me was that like 20% of people said that they didn't use all the security features available to them. And yet 50% of people said that they wanted more security features. 6% actually said that the reason that they didn't use all the security features available to them was because they were too lazy. And so that blows my mind in this space that like we're all so concerned about security, and yet people actively aren't using the tooling that's available to them. And this tells me that like what we've built so far just isn't good enough. It's not easy enough. It's not intuitive enough, because people shouldn't have to think twice about like keeping themselves safe, for example. And I think that this is just we have to remember in this space that we are we're trying now to build for the masses. We're trying to take crypto from being the niche industry that it is and trying to bring the value of this technology to the wider world. And again, this is where this whole concept for me of like bring the next billion people to crypto, I think is wrong. I think what we need to do is we need to meet those people where they are, which means creating value, creating user experiences that resonate with them wherever they are today, rather than trying to kind of convince them to become degens and come into our world. We need to really think about who those end users are and what value we can bring to them.
I love that perspective. I think that's a really great way to think about what actually onboarding the next billion users might actually consist of. So I want to take a step back and ask some broader questions about sort of the Web3 space more generally. But before that, I'd be remiss to ask, what's got you most excited as you think about the trajectory of what's being built at WalletConnect and where things are going?
Oh man, I'm so excited for what's coming up at WalletConnect. I could spend 20 minutes just on this question alone, but I'll try and be succinct here, and any listener can read more about what we're doing on our blog or get in touch. I think that there's a few things that are super exciting for me. One is that this year is a big focus for us on the decentralization of the WalletConnect network. This has always been part of Pedro, our founder's vision, which is that the relay network should be able to be run by many, many people, and that WalletConnect doesn't want to just be the only node runner on that. And so in recent weeks, what we've done is we've been changing our database. So we've been running in parallel for a long time now, distributed database as well as a centralized server. We recently made a switch in that regard so that the network is running through this distributed network. And over the next few weeks and months, we're going to add third-party node runners to that. And this is just the first step towards the decentralization of the network. There's a much longer path ahead, as we know, for it to become permissionless. There's a blog on our website about this, but there's just a key milestone for me is making sure that we are working against that mission of decentralization. So I'm super proud of the team who've been working really hard on that over the last little while, and lots more to come this year in that regard. The other thing that I'm really excited about, and this goes back to like, how do we onboard the next billion users, is some of the more like feature level work that we've been doing. And specifically around Web3 modal, we recently released email embedded wallets. These are pretty cool because they're cross-app universal embedded wallets. So when an end user goes to an application, if they don't have a wallet, they can create one. That same wallet is going to show up wherever Web3 modal is being used. So you can have your assets wherever you're using that app. And we've got a bunch of other features coming up that mean that end user can top up their wallet, get the tokens that they want, and create an experience where you no longer have to like go off platform, but you can do all of the things that you need to do within the application. This is going to be great for app developers in terms of retention and engagement. The other thing that I'm really excited about is our notifications product that we released recently called Web3 Inbox. And this allows apps to message directly to users' wallets. And the like Web3, like heart of me loves this because I hate giving out my email address when I log into an application. Like that defeats the point completely for me.
Right.
And so being able to receive notifications directly to my wallet, like when I have an offer on an NFT, when like I'm about to get liquidated in a DeFi pool, whatever that is. I love that. I love that like I can now receive those notifications directly to my wallet. And this is, I think, just going to be another really core primitive for Web3 in terms of how apps engage their users.
Super, super interesting. Okay, cool. So let's take a step back and maybe take a look at a couple more, maybe just general questions about the space. And I think my first question would be twofold. It would be, what do you think Web3 is getting right in 2024? And where do you think we could be doing things collectively better?
So one of the things that I love about 2024 so far is that there seems to be a real focus on like what value and what user experiences we can create. And this isn't just about like removing friction, but it's about saying, okay, I think that we're now at the starting line only in terms of having the right infrastructure. In the last couple of cycles, there's been all these constraints. You know, we still rely on seed phrases. The blockchains themselves aren't scalable. Costs are too high. It's not scalable. Like I feel that a lot of those infrastructure challenges have been overcome, which gets us to the starting line of saying, okay, we've got this core foundation of technology now that we can build really cool experiences on. And so I love that the work that for example, the Farcaster team is doing on the social side. I love that we're seeing new and innovative like gaming loops being built on Web3. I love the like range of DeFi products that's coming out. And so for me, 2024 is cool because it's not just about like proving proof of concepts, but it's about thinking, okay, how do we really create products and experiences that are either delightful and joyful or that solve real pain points for end users? You know, stable coins is another one. It's really solving a real world problem here. And so for me, 2024 is a real opportunity for us as an industry to go broader, to impact more people, and to take this technology to more people. That's what I think we're doing right, is that we are now starting to think much more carefully about building for the masses. In terms of where we can still do better, so many places. Obviously, end user experience in terms of like the wallet, the connection, how we sign and authorize transactions. That's all we are focused on at WalletConnect. So that's an area that I know the industry can do better, and that's why I'm working at WalletConnect. It's why all of our team is here, because we deeply believe that end user experience can be better. The other thing that I think that we can do better as an industry is in terms of like security and safety. There's still far too many people suffering from rug pulls and phishing and scams. A lot of companies trying to do a lot of work there, but I think collectively as an industry, we have an obligation to keep users safe. And so the more that we can do better there, the more we can work together to identify bad actors, to make sure that consumers are aware, that they are educated, and that we're building products with a real like security mindset embedded within them, the better I think this is. So those are a couple of the areas that I think we can do better. I also think that we've got a lot of work to do in terms of like crypto as a brand. Over the last little while, I think it's suffered for many, many reasons. There's also a lot of positive reasons. For me, like mass adoption of blockchain and crypto comes from when we like stop talking about it as crypto and blockchain, and it's when we really just start getting the benefits from it. In the same way that like people today don't say that they're building an internet company, they are building a marketplace or a social network or whatever that is. I think the same is going to be true of crypto. And so for me, it's also really cool right now to see many people from all different industries with incredible amounts of expertise flooding into the space, because I think what they're going to do is they're going to bring skills, talent, storytelling, marketing capabilities, all of this stuff, so that we can help really drive that adoption.
Love it. Okay. So if I could ask you to maybe wax philosophical here for a moment, if I were to ask you the future of crypto is blank, how would you fill in the blank?
Oh, I think the future of crypto is empowering. And the reason that I say that it's empowering is because I just so fundamentally believe that this technology can bring so much change if it's used well. We know that institutions around the world are failing. We know that many people don't have access to the right financial products that they need and deserve. We know that our data is being used in ways that we would rather it not be. And so I think if we all harness this in the right way, then we will all be so much better empowered as sovereign individuals. And that's a world that I'd really love to see.
Very cool. Okay. So maybe a couple last questions here for you, Jess. I'm curious, what advice would you have for other crypto leaders who are maybe a little bit newer to the space? If you could maybe, one lens could be like, if you could go back and give yourself advice at the beginning of your crypto journey, what would you maybe want to impart to yourself that could be sort of most generalizably useful for others?
I think one of the key principles about how I operate is that I try to go into things with very few assumptions, and I try to observe and learn as much as possible from what's going on around me. And I think that's been a real asset throughout my whole career, because it means that I'm not like wedded to a particular action, particular product, a particular feature. I really, really am just wedded to seeing an end state where, as I said, people are more empowered, they have better user experiences, and we're focused on like the mission. And so I think that what I would say to any like operator within crypto is like, understand your mission and constantly check in with yourself that what you're doing is in line with that. Because it's very, very easy to get distracted by like what's new, what's shiny. It's very easy to think that something should happen in a particular way. But actually, we're in this like very fluid, very fast changing environment. And so it's a real skill set to be able to observe that, but also then stay true to like your end state, your vision and your mission. I mean, if you can do both of those things well, you can really help navigate your company and your team to success. It doesn't guarantee it, of course, but I think this combination of like flexibility, but like knowing where you want to get to can be really helpful.
I love that. Okay. Jess, what's your team working on right now? And what's the best way for people to follow along on the journey?
Team is working with wallets to make their experience of the WalletConnect network better. They're working with apps to create better end user experiences, and they're working on the decentralization of this network. We've also got a ton of like cool events coming up this year. We just did WalletCon Lite, a small version of WalletCon in East Denver. We've got big WalletCon coming up in Q4. Stay tuned for more details on that. Loads of places that we hope that the industry can engage with us and that we can support the industry, including around standards setting, which is a big part of what we've done historically, help bringing people to the table, creating a shared set of standards so that we can advance user experience within the space. So that's kind of what's going on. As you can tell, a load of stuff that I'm super excited about. Best way to follow us is at WalletConnect on Twitter. This is where we put everything out. You'll also see on our website news, blog posts, and things like that. But Twitter is definitely the best place to stay tuned with the latest. And I would also just say to anybody listening, we love feedback at WalletConnect. So if you're an end user, you're an app, you're a wallet, and you've got thoughts on how we can support you or just overall how we can create better user experiences in Web3, please get in touch. It's really important to us, and I think it's really important to the industry as a whole that we can make this better.
Awesome. Jess, thank you so much for the time. Super, super interesting work y'all are doing over there, and I'm really excited to follow along myself. So have a great rest of your week here, and take care.
Tana, thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye. Hey everybody, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and maybe give us a good 5-star rating and subscribe wherever you're getting your podcasts so you can get all the latest conversations with the most interesting crypto founders, investors, and builders from across the world. Thanks so much. Have a good one.